Hey, what's up, Smash Garage? How you doing, man? Harry, what's up? Man, I forget, Schneider's Garage. I forget what your name is. I gotta check back in the room. What's up, Bruno? Um, give it a minute for Paul. That's right. That's right. I'll give it a sec for people to come in a little bit. Slow pre-market kind of. There's not a whole lot going on. Um, I mean, we got Medley and then we got Lizzie. That's really the only two gappers that I'm interested in. Nice, sweet, pushing 240s. I'd like a 250 at least, 250 to $3 push is where I'd be interested in for the backside. Yeah, actually, let's just jump straight into it. Go over Medley, what I'm seeing on this. So the very first thing that I do is I look at obviously the daily. I want to see where it's at. So you can see that this is a New York stock. So it's gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna follow the market. This is a financial, in the financial sector. So it's not a biotech. So it's not my favorite. And you can see this, this dump from $3 down to, sub $1 is, when the market crashed. So you can tell clearly that this follows trend. And if you look back on a lot of these stocks, you'll find this dump back when the market crashed. So you can that's kind of your indicator of, if the stock follows the market or not. So, but anyway, just looking back to a year, we can even look back to 2 years. We can see that there's really no volume on this anywhere for any kind of resistance. Before May, there's absolutely no volume. The only thing that you can trade off really is kind of just this chart. But again, it's kind of tough because there's nothing to support any of these levels really. So it's more of just a psychology. It's more of just people looking at this and be like, hey, I'm going to use this level. Because I mean, there's no volume, so people are just gonna try to use these levels. But again, this can go anywhere it wants to. So that's the first thing I look for, and there's really no volume weighted resistance at all. So that's why I, stayed clear of it, and anywhere in these levels, risking off of this high because it can keep on going. So. The other thing is that I look for is I go into, I'll pull this up actually. So this is Flash SEC, and this is where I look for dilution, and this is where you can use BAMSEC, but I like Flash SEC because it takes everything, condenses it, and puts it all on one page. So we can see that. Market cap 20 mil. This is market cap as of last Friday. So this is not exactly, or this is not super accurate. But what's accurate is this float, and also float held by institutions. So this is important. So you just take the 6 mil float, multiply it, or by like 60% or so, and that gives the actual float. Just quick math. It's like a 4 mil float, 3.5, something like that. So pretty low float. And then you have some financials obviously, and then you have your warrants, your dilution, and they have absolutely nothing. And this isn't something that you'll see regularly on small caps. On small caps you'll at least have some warrants, some dilution, but this has absolutely none. So that said, though, there's really no reason for this to be up 300%. So there's obviously still going to be backside. It's just there's going to be no insider selling, so that's going to help it stay up. And then I'll look through. Might as well, since I'm doing this, might as well show you guys my process that I do in the morning. And then I'll go on OTC markets. Type in the ticker. And I'll just go through their financials. And this gives you a quick overview of, you know, their financials per quarter, per year. You know, you do it however you want. But I just take a quick glance at this. I look at their income. I look at their net income, continued operations, and then just their net income. I don't really, you know, if I see negatives here in these ratios, I like that as well for backside. But really, you know, I'm looking for negatives here. So, you know, just if they're losing money or not. And as you can see, you know, the last few years they've been losing money. So, you know, that's a good sign for shorting. That's a good sign for them needing to raise, you know, soon. So, so that's the other thing that I look for. Okay. Let's see. How do I? Okay, never mind. Sorry. Pat, hey, congrats on September. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Newton, morning. Okay, so that's Medley, really, you know. And I'm just looking, you know, just because everybody's gonna be using these levels, even though there's no volume, I'm gonna be using this $2 to you know, $3 level really. And you know, that's kind of about it. But I'm gonna be waiting for backside. Like, I'm gonna be waiting for that parabolic move. As you can see, you know, there's no real parabolic move yet. It's just slow, steady grind, and that is what you want to avoid on the short side, because slow, steady grind means consolidation, and constant consolidation is not your best friend when it comes to shorting. So as of right now, yes, it might hit 250 soon, but it hasn't parabolicked, and so I'm going to be staying away from this, you know, until the open, or until I see a parabolic move pre-market. And at this point, a parabolic move to me is probably going to be $3. It's not going to be $2.50 level. John, good morning. Let's get it. The other one is Lizzie. Igloo Trader, good morning. Again, you know, this just first thing I do, go back, check out the daily. This doesn't really have. This only goes back. I guess this was maybe probably an IPO in what is that, January. But on the daily, it's just kind of been a downtrending chart. Again, no real volume. No one's really cared about this. It's a communication sector stock. It's on the NASDAQ though, so that, you know, I like that more. What's up, Preston? Good morning. So, you know, the only reason I took a starter is because it's, you know, it had a nice rally in the morning and then pulled back sub VWAP, and then it popped up over VWAP into these key levels. Again, the only reason I'm playing this is just off of technicals and just, you know, kind of maybe seems like it's backside, but then again, look, it's recovering now, which I don't like. You know, I would have liked to see this little VWAP push and then fail off of the $4 level. So I'm gonna, you know, keeping a close eye on this one. Again, this is not a very high odd setup, not a lot of high conviction in this. You can see it's holding this $4 level pretty well. So this is mostly just a technical trade, just because there's really nothing else, and I had kind of had some FOMO, so I wanted to at least, you know, get my feet wet with something. But so, you know, I do the same thing, you know, looking for fundamentals and dilution, you know, and there's not really a whole lot. They are losing money, but I don't think they have. Let me quickly check to see if they have any. I'll pull this up. I don't remember if they had anything or not when I checked, but I mean, 46 mil float, you know, none held by insiders. They've got some conversions, you know, up over $1, so they could be. They don't have. It doesn't say how many though, so I'm not really sure, you know. But they could be selling into some of this gap today. and no real shelf or at the markets. Obviously, they still, it looks like they may have still some left out of the IPO, but yeah, that's really about it. So let's see. So that's my thoughts on Lizzie again. I'm just kind of watching the price action. Medley hit 250. So I'll just kind of go over the ones I had from Friday, which again isn't much. I really only had one, and I added one on today. SNMP, you guys saw that one. That was just a gap and crap. It's come down pretty hard now. And then, I'm just really looking at it for pops and then fade it back down, because at this point you can see on the chart, it's very, very unlikely that it will keep going over 160. So pretty easy short if we get any levels to trade off of. But I would say that the last few weeks we haven't really had, this type of trade where you get the gap and crap day has always been followed by a green day the second day. So, yes, this is generally usually in a market is a very easy trade. You'll get some sort of morning spike into one of these levels or two, and then you just fade it, and it's like a very easy kind of just collect the money. But the last month and where the markets has been kind of just a little bit all over the place. This type of trade has not been working very well. What you see is a slow consolidation grind, steady grind up. So not ideal in this market, but generally this is a great short. So we'll see if we get a spike to $1. I use trade zero, so I can't short it below $1, but and I kind of doubt it's going to get to $1. But if you get pops maybe to the 90s, 80s, might be a decent entry there. Just have your risk management, have your stop losses, and just stick to those. And then the other one was, I'll get to the questions in just one second. And then GME, the only reason I'm interested in this one is because they, obviously on the daily, this is a breakout. Is because the news that they had with Microsoft was kind of garbage. They came out and said that this is not what it seems to be, and then there's a price target back down to $8. So really the only reason I'm interested in it today. Other than that, I don't really like playing these higher cap stocks, as you guys know. But the float is low, so this is why this can move a little bit. But basically, just looking for any of these levels. Really, 1250s is kind of ideal. You can see 1250 was key here, and also resistance into end of day on Friday. So any pops I would welcome, and then look for backside. Obviously not to 8 today, maybe to like $11, maybe to sub 11, 1050s, probably where some of these levels here, and that's really it on my plan for GameStop. And VVPR is an interesting one. Huge squeezer, kind of back and forth on Friday on huge blow off volume. This is a very low float though. So the reason I'm saying this is kind of weird is because they came, obviously, if you guys haven't followed it, there's like the news that they will put out an offering, which they haven't yet, and it's people think it's the offering's at 1050 and it's not. And so right now, if shorts start piling in and they don't really come out with their offering yet, then there's a very likelihood chance, I don't know if I said that right, but that it'll squeeze. So this, and I would really like that. I would really love $18 to $20. This maybe even like 17 to $20 range is where I'd like to fade it back down. But I mean, if you're playing just off of technicals, and you can see that this chart has failed, but if it holds up, then we may get another move or two. Maybe a possible breakout in the next week or so, but not today. Today it's going to be retesting levels, and it will not have enough momentum to break out over to this 24 level. So So that's that. And to be honest, that's really it. I don't have much else. It's again, like I was saying, kind of a slow day. There's nothing else on Gap. So I'll just answer and talk on any comments, and then we'll call that a morning. Okay, trades. Love watching your thoughts. Okay, NCY, it was a nice short last Thursday, 580s to 450s in a few minutes. I didn't trade it, but that potential was there. Yeah, that was an amazing OTC. I don't trade OTCs, but if you do, that was a very nice first red day and perfect short. And same exact pattern I look for on NASDAQs. Pat, what do you think of MARPs for overextended gap down shorts? Energy. No, this is not an overextended gap down. Overextended gap down is an overextension. You can see that it's given it all back, so this is not overextended. If this had closed at around $5, then you can use the overextended gap down. But this is not an overextended gap down, so no. You can play this just as a. Again, this pattern hasn't been working very well the last month or so. Again, it's also on 7 million volume, so no, absolutely not. It's traded 31,000 the pre-market, so no. I don't know. First of all, not an overextended gap down. Doesn't qualify for one. And you know, if this had more volume, then I would be looking for just bounce shorts into any of these key levels. But yeah, that's my thoughts on MARPs. Not enough volume. If this traded a million, or I mean 100 million, then I would be interested in it, into any of these key levels, but not where it is now. It's not going to have the liquidity to do anything today. Let's see. VVPR in solar sector and entire sectors on fire. Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going with that thought, but yes, that's true. High likelihood. High likelihood of what? Yeah, slower day Preston for sure. Newton, very slow day. Lizzie, not broken enough for me. Medley on a dip is potential for long. No shares, even if I wanted to short a death candle. I wouldn't know. This is a terrible lawn. I mean, okay, I wouldn't say terrible lawn. If it's still front side, sure, it's a decent lawn. It may even halt up and stuff, just because it came from like 50 cents, so the halt levels are going to be pretty thin. So yeah, you know, not a bad lawn actually, but this shouldn't be up, so it's more of a short really. But you can still scalp it on the way up. I don't see an issue with that. But I did want to mention, Lizzie, yeah, you said not broken down enough. Yeah, obviously it's still holding. At this point, I would say that you know, your 390s, 380s is your kind of key level to watch. So if this can break below those, then short pops into these areas, into this zone. Before that, it's still kind of, right now it's just in a channel between this 440 and or I guess more or less for 425 and this $4. It's kind of in this channel right now. So if it reclaims VWAP out of the open, you know, I'll get out most likely. So anything else? And then I was just correcting you from earlier. Oh, yeah, not high likelihood chance. High likelihood, yeah. Thanks, man. That's funny. Harry, not any lawn setups for me at the Open for first time in a while. Yeah, you know, I don't even see any. You know, medley is really the only short setup I see, and I don't even like it at this point. So yeah, it's a weird, slow Monday. You know, I'm expecting though for things to heat up just because you know we're getting into the busy season. So we're gonna definitely see more action, and especially going into elections. Okay, guys, it's I didn't even notice it's 36:26, or I'm West Coast. It's 6:26, but it's 9:26 Eastern. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.